Hi everyone, this is Sarah from mwinventory.in. So in this video, we are going to see the various deployments related tasks and how to do those tasks in management RESTful API. So I'm in my console. Let's go to deployments. I have 4 deployments right here. So and this is my server infrastructure. I have 6 managed server with 1 admin server, and my admin server port is 17001. So let's go to the deployment task. So I am going to deploy an application called MWI. So these are the commands we are going to use for the various tasks that we are going to perform. So I just kept it ready here. So before that, let's go to the terminal and see our application. So my application is here. MWI app.war is the application. So I have my plan generated already. So if you are not familiar with how to generate a plan, I will show you here. So you can use an option called Java Weblogic plan generator space the application name. So before executing this command, just like Java Weblogic.wlst, you need to do either set wlsenv.sh or you have to execute set domain env.sh script so that it would take care of the class path and everything. So now if you are not running it, it would create a class not found exception. So now it has created a plan. So as you could see here, it has created a plan.xml in the current directory. So let's go and see. So let's open the plan.xml. So this is the plan.xml. The module name is mwi-app.var, URI and everything. If you wanted to make any changes to the plan, you can go and make up changes. So I don't really want to do any changes here, so I'm just going to deploy this now. Now let's go to the command snippet. So this is the commands that I have prepared, deploying an application and various tasks that we are going to be performing now. So first let us do a deploy task. So this is a normal curl command only, and -h is for header. So I'm passing 3 headers, which is mandatory for all the API based request. And I'm using a post method. I'm actually going to give a post method to an mbin interface. This is the interface that I'm going to use, a URL, REST API URL. So let's decode this URL. This is a admin server host name and the port number, and the management's weblogic slash latest management slash weblogic is a syntax, and here you can use a version or you can use latest. So it's a version specifier, and domain runtime is a top level bean tree, and in which I'm going to deployment manager bean tree. Under the deployment manager bean tree, there are various tasks. So if you wanted to see, you can just take this URL, like what are the URLs, what are the options it is giving. So if you put it in the browser, it will ask for the password. So these are the various operations that it is giving. You see, update, redeploy, distribute, etc. So if you wanted to only see the actions that it is supporting, you see this, the rel is action. So there are others also, like parent, self and everything. These are the various links, actually parent link, self link, canonical link and everything. If you want only an action link, so you can just mention links equal to action. This is called filtering. So now we have these kind of options that you can see here. One is update, redeploy, distribute, confirm application name, deploy and deploy, etc. So this is tasks, actions, links of deployment manager, but we are not going to be using all deploy and all these tasks here. There is another way of also doing it. So let's go here. Now let's start our deployment. I'm going to use WLS REST CLI. as it's a tool actually I have prepared to avoid giving a clear text username and password in while making the RESTful calls. If you wanted to make CURL, like it will definitely ask for username and password. So it is a basic username and password. So you have to be using like hyphen user, WebLogic, the colon, the username and the password. Okay, but when you are doing this, it would actually create a security issue, like the people who are having access to your terminal can just type history and see like what is your password and everything, so which is something that we can avoid. So I have designed that script. I will just share it in this post itself. So I'm gonna go there. So here you can see this is the script wls rest cli.py. So I'm just gonna execute it. So this is a helper tool. So we have already talked about this tool earlier. If you want, you can pause this video now and you can read these instructions here. And I'm going to enter the username and I'm going to enter the password. Enter the whole request line by line. I have just entering the username and password. If you notice, I'm not using hyphen user and I'm not passing the username and password. So I just gave the username and password when it was asking me here. So and it would save it for this session unless you say control C or when it is asking you whether you want to proceed or no, something like that. If unless you say no, it would go on, keep on going, and you can just enter your username and password one time and you can perform various operations that you can see here. So it is session oriented and it will not save any of your credentials into any single file. Okay, and it is using a crypto. It is actually encrypting the username and password and it sending it to the CURL. That's what CURL also does. So I'm gonna say end as the example states here. So after entering all your data and everything CURL, you have to just say end and hit. So the upload is it's happening. So you can see that the deployment is completed, the progress is success, and these deployment messages are really helpful when you are doing a large application deployment. You can see like your application is the various phases that your application is going. If you're doing an application deployment through console, you will not be able to see the deployment messages and everything. Like you have to wait, you would not know if there is any network issue or something like that, so you have to go backside and see the logs and everything. But here you can see like the various stages, like to which server it is going and everything. So this is really helpful. So would you like to proceed and make a new request? So the deployment is completed now. So as you could see here, it is asking us to asking us, can do you want to go and make another call? Okay, so before that I wanted to validate whether the deployment is fine. So go to the console, click on deployments, see my application here, MWI app, it's here. So the application is started and it is active. You can just go and hit the application. So the application is deployed into MWI cluster, which is MWI server 1 and MWI server 3. So I'll take one of the server, which is 1717003, which is like MWI server 1. So I'm gonna give a call to it /MWI app. Great. So we got a reply. So this is the page that I have designed, and I have the application is working fine. So let's stop the application now. There are various tasks pending. So the deployment is completed. The next thing we are going to do is getting a state of this application. So the application state is active, right? So let's go and say yes, I want to continue. You can just say yes, or you can just type Y. You don't have to type full yes and everything. So enter the whole request line by line. So and done, end. You can see the application has returned the status active. So let's we have to perform various steps like steps like redeploying an application and everything. So in order to do that, I'm gonna stop the application first. So this is a command you see here. I'm just using the same headers, and with post method I am gonna use okay. So I forgot to tell you something. What is the bean tree that I'm using, or what is the URL that I'm using for get state is I'm going after domain runtime, after deployment manager, I'm actually using app deployment runtimes slash here I need to use my application name. Okay, so if you wanted to get the application name, if you know the application name, that would be really helpful. So you can just mention the application name slash get state. That's all you have to do. So now if you are receiving this, you will get what is the current status of the application. So let's same way after deployment manager, app deployment runtimes, and the application name, you can just give stop. And here for this post you need to pass two things. One is a targets and another is a deployment options. I'm not using deployment options. Okay, so what is the deployment options? So these are the various deployment options. Actually you can use cluster deployment timeout, graceful ignore sessions, graceful production to admin, retire gracefully, and everything. So at the right side if you see, these are the default values for all these options. So I'm letting everything be default, so I'm not actually defining everything. If you wanted to make a change, you can just pass this information into deployment options right here as a key and value, faces like key and value kind of, and you can just send it across the request. So now let's stop the application. So would you like to make it? Yes, just copying it, saying end. Okay, the application is stopped. Whatever the operation I have given is completed. The state is completed. So let us execute the get state one more time to verify the application is stopped or not. So I'm just giving the get state call. It's state prepared. It's actually stopped. So now why don't we try to redeploy an application? Okay, we can redeploy the same application. So while you're trying to redeploy the same application, you can use the app deployment runtimes slash application name slash redeploy. You do not have to mention the var file. Okay, the same var file will be taken and the plan is here. If you wanted to make any changes in the plan, you can just make a plan in the changes and you can redeploy an application. The targets is this, and the deployment options I'm letting it be default. So let's give a redeployment. So is to continue, enter the whole request, done, say end. The deployment is happening. So the deployment is happening. So as it's a new deployment, the state would have changed to active. So you can go and verify here the deployments. Yes, it has turned out to be a redeployment change. So now, so we have redeployed and we have stopped an application. So now let us update an application. So you see this. So if you wanted to make any changes in the code or anything, you can make a changes in the plan.xml and everything, and you can update an application. So it's here. Or rather so what else you can do is like the update option is actually for making some any code changes, right? So I have, let's just go and make some code change in the code of my MWA inventory, MWA app, and see how it is reacting. So I have my code here. So this is the page that you have saw there. So I'm just going to make some change here. So let us add a line here. Okay, so I just added a new tag, pre-tag, and I just typed this is an update we made. So let us save the file and go here, and let us clean and build. So once it is done, we can copy. So okay, the distribution is completed. So I'm gonna copy the code to let us come out of this for now. Let me go to the applications directory. So here I need to copy the NetBeans from NetBeans projects. I'm copying the mwi app.war to here. Just say enter. So the application has been copied here and the plan is same. So let us, before, if you wanted to make sure that whether it is like really done it or not, what you can do is let's say, I don't know if it is working in Mac, but you can do this update. Let us search for the word. This is the update we made. You can search for the word in the var. So it is actually not taking this line. That is fine. I'm just gonna replace this. Okay, so it is matches. You see this binary file mwi app.var is matches, which means that this line is there in the var file internally. So we can, go ahead and do the update task. So let us go to the directory we came back. We came from, let's go to domains, my domain, REST API test. So yeah, let's execute the script, enter the username. That's it. You can just forget it. It would do the username and password thing properly. Now let us update the application. I'm just gonna update the application. So if you see here, I'm not giving the var file name. It is actually being taken from wherever it was as per the plan. In the plan.xml there is a var file location. It will be picked from there. You do not have to worry about it. So say end. So the deployment is completed. So let us go and verify the application now. If we have got it, let's, okay, so not sure why it is not working. So let us open a new browser session and see. Sorry, I'm just using a wrong port number, which is the issue. Okay, I have just updated the application, but it is not working. So let us do something. Let us restart the server and you can see it, but the update is completed, so you do not have to worry about it. So where are we? Here. So go to service. Let quickly restart MWS server 1. It's for shutting down. You can actually do the start and stop using the WLS REST management, which is actually covered in another video in the same, available in the same post itself. Yeah, I think it might be due to that staging thing. So it's still starting. Give it a minute. So the next operation that we are going to perform is you can just do an undeployment. You can try to start an application, stop and start an application, and you can just do a redeployment also. So Yeah, the page is running now. Okay, let's hit. Okay, you see this? This is an update we made. Okay, so I should have used a vowel. This is an update. Okay, anyways, so the update is fine. We have made that update and it is displaying here. So it is successful. So let us do a next operation. So whatever we have covered is deployment and get state, and redeployment we haven't done. It's a quick redeployment task you can do, which is like it will take the same application and you can just redeploy it. You see this? So the redeployment has happened. It's just done. Now, so start an application. So let us try to stop and start the application. Just stopping the application, saying yes. The application is stopped. Let us go to the console and make sure it is stopped in deployments. Okay, it's in prepared status. Let us start the application using mwapp/start. It started. So here you can see it's active. So if anyone is having question like why he is doing only the application, okay, let us do the other task with some other application. So I'm going to remove Jenkins. So I'm going to remove undeploy task. Let us do the undeploy task with jenkins.var. So I'm just going to change this URL here as Jenkins and deploy deployment manager app deployment runtimes Jenkins and deploy. So I'm gonna undeploy this application. Let's see how it works. So it is happening. As we could see here, the Jenkins application has been undeployed from the domain. It's not here. So let us see, like we have data update application, undeploy an application, stop an application, start an application, redeployment application, get application state, deploy an application. All the tasks we have covered in this video. So thank you for watching. Stay connected and follow us in mwinventory.in page. And if you have any questions and if you need any help, you can feel free to write to aksarav@mwinventory.in, and you can also say that if there is anything wrong, you can just write an email. I would try to correct, and it would be a good learning experience for me too. Thank you.